The film opens at the God-Devil Cemetery, located in the heart of the Tianyuan continent. This is the resting place of the most powerful figures in history, spanning the universe from the primordial era. A mysterious man carries Shen Nan in his arms as he performs a 6 realms reincarnation ritual. The entire cemetery is bathed in a sacred atmosphere. 10,000 years later, a small dragon is being chased by 2 thugs. A total solar eclipse occurs, and our protagonist suddenly bursts forth from the ground. As the eclipse ends, he finds himself surrounded by the tombs of legendary gods and devils. He's startled by his surroundings. Only after the little dragon's tears splash into his mouth can he understand its speech. After speaking with Shen Nan, he learns that the eastern and western continents have merged to form the Tianyuan continent. Images of a girl named Wu Xing flash repeatedly through his mind. He believes that uncovering the origins of the God-Devil Cemetery is the key to understanding everything. A dragon flies overhead, which Shen Nan mistakes for a featherless bird. A colossal arm appears, snatching the dragon. It belongs to a primordial giant, a legendary being. Realizing the dangerous nature of the creatures inhabiting this land, the little dragon introduces himself as Dong Dong. The 2 clasp hands, officially becoming companions. Leaving the God-Devil Cemetery, they traverse treacherous terrain. Mid-conversation, Dong Dong slips, pulling Shen Nan down with him. Shen Nan accidentally grabs hold of a woman bathing. Enraged, she calls for her guards to seize him. A hulking figure appears, giving him a beating. The woman, dressed in green, uses water bubbles capable of freezing anything they touch. However, through wit and agility, Shen Nan emerges victorious. Having been groped, the woman, who claims to be a princess, challenges Shen Nan to a fight. After his defeat against the girl, he was tied to a post. Watching the princess's subordinates unfurl a map, the male lead instantly recognized it as depicting the location of the legendary Lai Huo Xian Lion Blazing Fire Immortal Lotus. They hoped to find this mythical medicinal herb to present to His Majesty. However, neither of them knew Eastern script, let alone the ancient writing on the map. The male lead was left tied up, baking in the sun, while the little dragon received the princess's doting attention. Before searching for the herb, the princess had something more important to do with Shen Nan. He was pretending to sleep, but was abruptly awakened by Princess Yu's threat to dismember him. He'd hoped Dong Dong would vouch for his innocence, but the little dragon turned out to be a traitor, swayed by beauty. And so, the girl before him toyed with him with her dagger. Poor Shen Nan, having just barely returned to life, now found himself once again on the verge of death. He claimed to understand the ancient script on the map and promised to lead them to the treasure. Provisionally trusting him, she untied him, declaring that from now on, he would be her slave. Leading the group to the supposed location, Shen Nan contemplated escaping but, fearing castration, decided against it. He froze when he saw the jade box Princess Yu wore on her back. Thanks to information from his 2 puppet spies, he knew that the real treasure was on Su's person. His subordinate reported that an ambush was prepared. As soon as the princess descended the mountain, they would seize the treasure. Back with the main group, after reaching the mountaintop, they split up, hoping to quickly find the Lai Huo Xian lion. Dong Dong discovered where it grew, but Shen Nan stopped Yu Sheshi. He noticed the flower's unusual size, concluding it had absorbed the spiritual energy of a mystical beast, which was likely guarding it. Before he could finish his sentence, the flower was somehow already in his hand. A giant serpent appeared and attacked them. Huakayan Flower Money, assuming this is one of the puppets, grabbed a vine, hastily pulling them up. The Lai Huo Xian lion flew out and embedded itself in the cliff face. While Yu Sheshi's group was occupied with the serpent, the male lead hid, observing the situation. 2 of the princess's subordinates held the beast at bay while she tried to retrieve the lotus. Close to obtaining it, she noticed her 2 guards were losing ground and rushed to their aid. The difference in power put all 3 at a disadvantage. Although wanting to help, the main character was too weak. Rushing in would be suicide. To prevent the princess from using the box on her back, Huakayan mustered his strength and attacked the serpent, losing an arm in the process, while the serpent remained unscathed. The serpent lunged at them, and to save the princess, Huakayan used himself as bait. Left with no other choice, Yu Sheshi resorted to using the mystical box. The male lead was surprised to see Hu Yigong, presumably a powerful weapon or ability. She fired an arrow past the serpent. Thinking she'd missed, the arrow suddenly reversed, piercing the beast. While they were recovering, the serpent transformed into a Jiao, a type of dragon. Yusheshi drew her bow, but fear prevented her from holding it steady. The Jiao, now very close, opened its jaws to devour her. Suddenly, Shen Nan appeared, hand in hand with the princess, pulling back the bowstring together. As if sensing its master's presence, the bow came alive, radiating light. In that moment, memories of Shen Nan's past surfaced. His father had personally entrusted him with the Haoyi bow, hoping his son would one day reach the pinnacle of martial arts prowess through his own strength and achieve the Xianwu realm. Back in the present, a single arrow launched from the bow instantly took down the giant serpent, logged it out of the server, allowing Yusheshi to land safely. Shen Nan, holding the 7-starred bow, was followed by Dong, who had abandoned his wealth and status to pursue him. Their reunion was short-lived, however, as Shen Nan was captured by the third prince of the Bai Kingdom, known as Reincarnated Human Sword. He ordered Shen Nan to be untied. Suspecting Shen Nan had stolen the Haoyi bow, a national treasure of the Dongchu Kingdom, Reincarnated interrogated him. The narrator interjects, "Talk about bad luck. He just escaped the princess, now he's with the prince." Shen Nan fabricated a story, claiming Yusheshi was infatuated with him and he had stolen the bow while she was distracted. Reincarnated covered the Haoyi bow with a cloth. Knowing Yusheshi and her group must be exhausted from the previous battle, the third prince planned to capture her. 2 birds with 1 stone. Acquiring both the national treasure and the princess would give the Bai Kingdom leverage over the Dongchu Emperor. After searching for a while, Yusheshi found Shen Nan casually drinking tea. She called the third prince a scoundrel. After a brief exchange, Yusheshi demanded the return of the Haoyi bow. Reincarnated insisted he hadn't seen any such treasure. Unconvinced, the princess demanded a search. Surprisingly, when the cloth was removed, only a shabby sword was revealed. Yusheshi and Yuzia led Shen Nan away. After a few steps, Reincarnated noticed bloodstains on the ground and ordered his men to attack. Despite putting up a fight, Yusheshi was quickly defeated due to her injuries and the difference in their levels. Dong suddenly produced a bow. The narrator wonders where he got it from. He underestimated Shen Nan, thinking he could easily kill him. However, Shen Nan used the bow with chopsticks as arrows, taking down the soldiers. Reincarnated fought back, wielding his sword skillfully, but the arrows wouldn't stop until they drew blood. A soldier, seeing the prince in danger, intervened, but somehow ended up getting the third prince injured in the groin. The narrator finds this comical. They used a smoke bomb to escape. Princess Yu, initially elated, quickly sobered up when Shen Nan aimed the bow at her. That night, amidst a raging storm, within a cave, Shen Nan was engaged in some shady business with the princess. She was tied up while he teased her with a knife, enjoying the feeling of her against him. Suddenly, she broke free and attacked, but exhausted, she fell into his arms. He then carried her to find a place to rest. The entire tavern was stunned by Shen Nan's appearance. Meanwhile, Princess Xia Yu arrived on her mount, inquiring about Yusheshi's whereabouts. Sensing something amiss at the inn, Shen Nan considered leaving. However, with nowhere else to go and the princess's health deteriorating, he had no choice but to stay. Downstairs, the group seemed to have learned that the male lead and the girl were Yusheshi. They were plotting to seize the Haoyi bow when a girl calling herself Yang volunteered to handle the situation herself. Dong, upon learning of their plan, immediately informed Shen Nan. Although escaping wouldn't be difficult, Yusheshi was still unconscious, preventing their departure. The princess had awakened but feigned sleep to assess the situation. The male lead initially decided to leave, but after a moment of hesitation, returned. Yusheshi was surprised by his action. She offered him the Haoyi bow, hoping he could return it to the Dongchu Kingdom. As for herself, suffering from the backlash of using the divine weapon, she resolved to stay behind and deal with the consequences. Just as she was about to explain the route from the inn to Dongchu, her illness flared up. Thinking quickly, Shen Nan gave her a Xianlian immortal lotus to consume. This rare and precious item had an immediate effect. Yusheshi's face flushed crimson, and she began pacing the room, trying to cool down. Her diminished inner strength couldn't maintain the heaven and earth transformation, a technique that rapidly absorbs consumed items, including the internal energy of other martial artists. Abandoning her princessly dignity, Yu Sheshi, using her charm, borrowed some of Shen Nan's inner energy. As they debated, the self-proclaimed Mein Yang arrived at the door. She attempted to seduce Shen Nan with poisoned wine. However, he wasn't fooled. He requested a dance from her for entertainment. Suspecting the Hao Yi bow was hidden on the bed, Mein Yang attempted to retrieve it but became trapped in an illusion Shen Nan created. He then pinned her to a table and detected a strong scent of osmanthus. He deliberately knocked over the poisoned wine, and Mein Yang excused herself to fetch another jar. At this moment, the eldest princess arrived at the inn. Upon returning with the wine, Mein Yang was subdued by Shen Nan. Not detecting the osmanthus scent, he deduced she hadn't fetched poisoned wine but had gone to apply a different scent. This led to an exchange of martial arts, culminating in them both on the bed. Suddenly, Yu Sheshi addressed the girl as Huang Jai elder sister. Recognizing each other, the three debated whose inner energy Yu Sheshi would absorb. Since the eldest princess cultivated Taoist energy, her energy was incompatible with Yu Sheshi's martial energy. Thus, Shen Nan became the target. Yu Sheshi, losing control, couldn't stop absorbing his inner energy. The group downstairs, discovering the real Mein Yang's body, launched an attack but were intercepted by the eldest princess and her pet. Meanwhile, the innkeeper, attempting to seize the Hao Yi bow, was thwarted by Dong Dong. Shen Nan's inner energy was completely drained, and even his vital energy was being absorbed. At that moment, the male lead, Shen Nan, suddenly recalled his past. After his sparring match with the esteemed young lady, he had trained relentlessly, only to experience Kai deviation and a decline in his cultivation. After pondering for a while, he realized a strange energy from their clash had disrupted his internal energy. Just as he came to this realization, he lost consciousness. The steward, seeing his men defeated, fled the scene. The next morning, Shen Nan awoke with a hazy awareness that his spiritual sense had returned. He tentatively circulated his energy, inadvertently causing a huge commotion. Yu Sheshi, worried, rushed to check on him. Overcome with excitement, Shen Nan embraced her tightly, then promptly received a slap across the face. Yu Sheshi blamed herself for his condition and offered to take him back to the imperial palace to care for him. Shen Nan was searching for an excuse to refuse when Yu Sheshi's older sister mentioned the stolen ancient map that had thrown the palace into chaos. The lure of the imperial library proved too strong, and Shen Nan agreed to accompany the two princesses. To avoid suspicion about his recovered abilities, he feigned carelessness and slept soundly, face up. Finally, the three of them, along with Dong Dong, arrived back at the capital. Instead of a warm welcome, Shen Nan was arrested and brought to court for interrogation. Standing before the emperor, he explained that he had taken the princess to protect the ancient map. Despite his eloquent defense, he was still deemed guilty. However, in consideration of his past service to Yu Sheshi, the emperor granted him a swift death. Just as his execution was being considered, the two princesses intervened. The elder princess spoke on his behalf, explaining how he had repeatedly saved Yu Sheshi's life and protected the Eastern Chu's rear palace. Furthermore, she emphasized Shen Nan's ability to control their nation's sacred treasure. Unwilling to execute such a valuable asset, the emperor instead assigned him to the knight's residence. It turned out the emperor, nearing the end of his reign, hoped the elder princess could persuade Shen Nan to willingly serve Eastern Chu. On this side, the male lead, Shen Nan, was utterly shocked to find the statue before him was of Dan Tai. He wondered how people in the present era could remember her, a woman from 10,000 years ago. Yu Sheshi explained that 1,000 years prior, the woman depicted in the statue had overseen the Dongchu kingdom and bestowed the Huyi palace, thus cementing her place in history. Shen Nan, haunted by memories of the past he thought he could forget, resolved to cultivate his powers and ascend to immortality quickly, hoping to reunite with Dan Tai and unravel the mysteries of their shared history. After being led to his quarters, Shen Nan encountered Sima Ling Kong, who was chasing and beating his servant. Yu Sheshi intervened, saving the servant's life. Sima Ling Kong then insulted Shen Nan, but Yu Sheshi, putting an arm around Shen Nan, asserted that he was stronger than Sima Ling Kong. Sima Ling Kong brought up the matter of their engagement and made a move to snatch Yu Sheshi away, but she threatened him with the laws of the knightly manner. Thwarted, Sima Ling Kong tried to take Dong Dong, but the little creature bit him. He attacked the small pet before retreating. That night, still fuming that Yu Sheshi favored a useless person like Shen Nan, Sima Ling Kong ordered his subordinate to bring him wine. Moments later, the same subordinate was thrown naked from Sima Ling Kong's room. It turned out Shen Nan had decided to teach Sima Ling Kong a lesson for insulting him and hurting Dong Dong. The next morning, Shen Nan was studying a map of the imperial palace when Yu Sheshi and her older sister, the eldest princess, appeared. Noticing the princess's suspicion, he explained that he couldn't sleep and had been doodling. He then removed his shirt so Yu Sheshi's sister could administer acupuncture treatment. Although his powers had recovered, he had to suppress them to avoid exposure. He used the pretext of propriety to subtly dismiss the eldest princess, unaware that as a holy maiden, she was forbidden from romantic relationships. Cries of pain echoed from the small room as the treatment continued. Finally, it was over. Since Shen Nan couldn't read the current script, Yu Sheshi proposed that she would teach him in the afternoons, while the mornings would be dedicated to his treatment. The following days were a torment for Shen Nan. Seeing no progress in his supposed recovery, he advised the two women to give up and let him live a normal life. However, the eldest princess, somewhat smitten, skillfully countered with flattery. Shen Nan, noticing her excessive concern, remarked that she seemed to care for him a great deal. The crown princess dismissed the prejudice, stating that her attentiveness stemmed solely from a desire to avoid incurring debts. She then turned and left. Having finished their task, Yu Sheshi and Shen Nan visited the imperial archives. The princess recounted a story to Shen Nan and Dong Dong, a fire that had once ravaged the archives. Only an old guard was present, and his deep sleep had delayed his response until it was too late. Since then, guards often heard snoring at night, believed to be the resentful spirit of the old man. Unexpectedly, she scared Dong Dong the dragon, causing him to flee in terror. She then left, leaving Shen Nan to search for what he needed. Suddenly, an old man appeared, scaring both Shen Nan and Dong Dong, revealing himself as the princess's master, a powerful sorcerer. Knowing Shen Nan could translate a 7 zizens yield map, he subtly dismissed Yu Sheshi and took Shen Nan down to the archive's secret vault. After reading a book given to him by the old man, Shen Nan learned that cultivators were broadly categorized into 4 types. Shen Nan, already proficient in modern and ancient scripts 7,000 years old, now grasped intermediate-era scripts. The old man unexpectedly attacked, astonished by Shen Nan's early 3rd stage cultivation. At such a young age, most cultivators reach late 2nd stage only after years of arduous training. Relentlessly, the old man attacked, and the two chased each other through the vault. Shen Nan, discovering the old man's weakness for ancient books, used them to taunt him. The old man, employing his swift transformation technique, quickly captured Shen Nan. Expecting Shen Nan to remain his companion for life, the old man was surprised when Shen Nan only wanted him to translate a book. In exchange, the secret of Shen Nan's depleted internal energy would be kept, and he would have access to all the ancient books in the archives. Shen Nan immediately agreed. What followed was a grueling routine: morning medical treatments, afternoon translation, and evening cultivation. Yu Sheshi wanted her father to cancel her engagement to Sima Ling Kong, but the Sima family's power was too great, requiring a strategic alliance for peace. The princess then returned Dong Dong to Shen Nan. Though wanting to leave, Yu Sheshi was confined by the emperor's decree. Seeing her distress, Shen Nan sketched scenes from their past adventures for her. That evening, the crown princess appeared, advising Yu Sheshi to distance herself from Shen Nan to maintain peace with the Sima family. Yu Sheshi ignored her and took Shen Nan away. Suddenly, the crown princess launched a hidden weapon at Shen Nan. Unafraid, Shen Nan didn't dodge. Seeing Shen Nan's apparent hopelessness, Yu Sheshi left. The crown princess then attempted to teach Shen Nan the transformation technique to absorb others' internal energy, a technique Shen Nan immediately rejected due to its unethical nature. Having exhausted the archives without finding information on Ma Lang Yuan Ma Lang Garden, Shen Nan decided to leave. While fleeing, he overheard a conversation between the two imperial princesses. Yu Sheshi, unwilling to marry Sima Ling Kong, had, in a fit of anger, insulted her older sister, the crown princess. The crown princess retaliated with a slap. Unable to do anything further, Yu Sheshi stormed off. A moment later, their father, the emperor, emerged, lamenting his inability to provide his daughters with freedom. despite showering them with luxury. During this time, Yu Sheshi and Shen Nan grew closer, much to the Sima family's displeasure. The crown princess informed her father that she had sent subordinates to eliminate Shen Nan. Enraged upon learning of their plot, Shen Nan rushed to the vault where the Haoyubo was stored. Realizing he was no match for the two mage guards, he resorted to trickery and successfully stole the Eastern Kingdom's treasure. Meanwhile, after questioning Xia Yuan and Bai Qian, Yu Sheshi learned something that prompted her to rush to Shen Nan's side. After securing the Haoyubo, Shen Nan was preparing to leave when he sensed something and froze. It was Yu Sheshi. She urged him to flee quickly, as someone was trying to kill him. She started gathering his belongings, but he stopped her. As he tried to conceal the bow, Yu Sheshi spotted it. He told her that if she wanted to report him, she could. He was doomed either way. He thanked her for saving him and for her past care, then turned to leave. Unexpectedly, she insisted on accompanying him. By now, the crown princess had discovered the theft of the Haoyubo and learned of her younger sister's plan to flee with Shen Nan. Shen Nan, fearing the arrival of the guards, tried to dissuade Yu Sheshi from arguing. Just as he finished speaking, they were surrounded. Sima Ling Kong arrived, riding a dragon. Declaring himself a knight, he announced his intent to execute Shen Nan on the spot for stealing a national treasure and beguiling a princess. With that, he launched an attack. Yu Sheshi blocked the spearhead with her bare hand. The scene triggered a flashback for Shen Nan to a time when another girl, Wu Xing, had sacrificed herself to protect him. Back in the present, Yu Sheshi shattered Sima Ling Kong's weapon. He then unleashed a devastating attack. Yu Sheshi instinctively moved to shield Shen Nan, but he drew the Haoyubo and shot down the dragon. The surrounding soldiers could only watch as the pair escaped. Both were walking on the bridge when the old man who guarded the archives appeared. Without a word, he pulled Shen Nan down from the bridge, leaving Yu Sheshi behind. He led Shen Nan into the house before them. Just then, the group of pursuers caught up. Sima Ling Kong wanted the crown princess to arrest Shen Nan for stealing a treasure. Realizing that Shen Nan had recovered his strength, the crown princess told him that the Haoyubo hadn't been stolen, but rather borrowed from the divine armory. She continued, explaining that she had granted him special privileges due to his discovered ability to wield the divine bow. Sima Ling Kong, frustrated, could do nothing, and the conversation ended with everyone going their separate ways. Inside the house, Shen Nan gave the old man the final translation of the ancient book. The old man had discovered that Shen Nan had secretly altered the order of the pages, but instead of scolding him, he praised his intelligence and ingenuity. Having found what he needed, the old man asked Shen Nan what he desired, but Shen Nan didn't answer. It turned out his 3-hour wait was simply to meet the crown princess. His mission accomplished, the old man departed, carrying Shen Nan's secret with him. Seeing the two before her intending to leave the palace, Yu Sheshi's older sister suggested they were romantically involved. The pair, startled, exchanged embarrassed glances, both quickly denying the accusation with teasing remarks. Returning to the main topic, the crown princess stated that no one had ever been able to control the Haoyubo like Shen Nan. Although currently only at the first stage of mastery, this skill alone was enough for him to establish his merit and achieve great things, meaning he would be second only to the emperor, above all others. Shen Nan immediately refused, joking that the higher the position, the colder it gets. He wanted to leave the palace and live an ordinary life. As the situation grew tense, the old archivist suddenly reappeared, grabbing Dong Dong and urging Shen Nan to stay and consider the offer carefully. Back at his residence, Shen Nan was bewildered by the mountain of gifts the crown princess had sent, but he paid them no mind and went straight inside. As he lay restlessly pondering, a knife embedded with a note suddenly thudded into the pillar beside him. It was a message from Yu Sheshi requesting a favor. She wanted Shen Nan to pretend to marry her so she wouldn't have to marry Sima Ling Kong. Afterwards, she would sweet-talk him into returning Dong Dong, and once things calmed down, they would go their separate ways. While it seemed like a mutually beneficial solution, Shen Nan believed it would be detrimental to both of them. Before he could elaborate, she abruptly left. Meanwhile, Sima Ling Kong's father delivered a gift from a mysterious benefactor to his son. He also mentioned that this enigmatic individual would soon arrive in Pingyang City. Finally, the day of the emperor's birthday celebration arrived. On his way to the grand banquet, Sima Ling Kong encountered his mistress's lover, and after a heated exchange of insults won from him, 10 in return, he arrived at the palace. Ambassadors from various kingdoms had already gathered in the Great Hall. The male protagonist was escorted in by Yu Ha, and even had a seat reserved for him by Princess Yu. Yu Nai introduced 2 figures in yellow robes as envoys from the Tianyang kingdom, protected by Dongzhu. However, in recent years, Tianyang had grown more powerful and repeatedly provoked Dongzhu, even turning against its protector, leading to its ostracization by other nations to avoid the emperor's wrath. Seeing Princess Yu whispering to Shen Nan, Sima Ling Kong felt a pang of jealousy. Then, His Imperial Majesty arrived. He ordered the presentation of the Huyi Bo, Dongzhu's national treasure, to the assembled ambassadors, eliciting gasps of admiration. Just as the crown princess ordered General Lai to put the bow away, a Tianyang envoy secretly planted a bug on him. Yu Nai saw this as an opportunity to advance her plan and subtly signaled Shen Nan, but he refused. Seizing the moment, Sima Ling Kong's father unexpectedly proposed to the emperor that he select an auspicious date for the marriage of Princess Yu and his son. Before a refusal could be voiced, several ambassadors excitedly declared the day auspicious, urging an immediate wedding. Yu Nai, enraged, slammed the table, demanding that her father cancel the betrothal. Amidst the ensuing commotion, a corpulent Tianyang envoy openly insulted the emperor, criticizing his failure to properly discipline his daughter for breaking off the engagement, accusing him of lacking propriety. The male protagonist then coolly stepped forward, questioning the audacity of a vassal state like Tianyang in interfering with Dongzhu's matrimonial affairs. Seizing the opportunity, the crown princess accused Tianyang of repeated provocations, implying sedition. She demanded their departure unless their intentions were truly celebratory. Sensing the escalating tension, the remaining Tianyang envoy offered a cultural performance to defuse the situation. The emperor, accepting this, directed the court to a performance of songs and dances. However, instead of a performance, the Tianyang delegation challenged Dongzhu to a martial arts contest to decide the ownership of the Nanshui stronghold. The emperor, having no choice, allowed Yu to oversee the contest. Seeing no promising candidates among Dongzhu's generals, she ordered the retrieval of the Huyi Bo, forcing Shen Nan to fight. Shen Nan agreed, on the condition that the emperor grant him one favor in return for victory. The first match pitted Bai Qian against a vile and unattractive woman. After a brief exchange, Bai Qian was defeated by a thrust from his opponent. The girl in the white dress won the first round. She even demanded to fight the second round immediately. Seeing this, the chubby man in the yellow clothes remarked that Lady Tai Yuan was the weakest of the 3 imperial dragon riders sent by their country. He suggested letting her fight all 3 rounds since she was winning so easily. Seeing Dongzhu being humiliated, Sima Ling Kong couldn't stand it anymore and stood up, declaring he would avenge Princess Yu. Just as he summoned his giant dragon to prepare for battle, panicked soldiers rushed in, demanding to see the crown princess. They reported that the entire guard escorting the Huyi Palace had been turned to gold by their own commander, Lai, who had then committed suicide. Hearing this, Princess Yu immediately suspected foul play, guessing someone had bewitched Commander Lai. Meanwhile, the old demon in the library finally found a book and laughed gleefully at the sight of the smaller dragon. The duel between the 2 imperial dragon riders continued fiercely. Shen Nan observed and concluded that while they were equally matched in skill, Sima Ling Kong lacked the synergy with his dragon that Tai Yuan possessed. Suddenly, the girl in white pulled out a flute and played, causing Sima Ling Kong's dragon to fly closer to her. Amidst the swirling mist, Tai Yuan explained that her master desired a draw, requesting Sima Ling Kong's cooperation. After the mist cleared, the 2 pretended to be equally matched, resulting in a draw. The chubby man in yellow arrogantly confronted King Dongzhu, warning him to uphold his promise and surrender the Nanshui stronghold if he lost. He mocked, "You've lost 2 rounds already. Where's your confidence for the 3rd? Yu Nai retorted angrily, asserting they would win the 3rd round because Shen Nan, who could control the Huyi Palace, was their trump card. However, Princess Yu immediately announced that the Huyi Palace could not be retrieved. She then declared her intention to fight in Shen Nan's place, claiming she was itching for a fight after watching the duels. The 2 envoys from the Tianyang kingdom immediately sneered, implying Shen Nan was afraid to fight and was hiding behind a woman. This angered Shen Nan, who decided to show them what he could do. Indeed, with just a few basic moves, Shen Nan sent both man and dragon flying 10 meters, winning the duel. His third stage cultivation was now undeniable. Before he could celebrate, the chubby man from Tianyang Kingdom protested, claiming Tai Yuan must be exhausted after 3 consecutive matches, hence the loss. Shen Nan, anticipating this, proposed that all 3 of their Imperial Dragon Riders fight simultaneously to save time. Before the match began, Shen Nan pleaded with the Emperor that if he won, Princess Yu should be allowed to choose her own husband. The Emperor agreed. Suddenly, the opposing Imperial Dragon Rider summoned a rare 4th stage dragon, surprising everyone. Our male protagonist, with a swagger, confidently strode onto the competition stage. Just as he was showcasing a flashy, impressive aura, the young man declared he was hungry, leaving everyone dumbfounded. The Emperor, witnessing this, ordered the competition to end for the day, decreeing that everyone should return home for nourishment, and the competition would resume the next day. That evening, in the Yunai Palace, Yunai had just complimented Shen Nan when the young man raised both hands, stating he'd likely have to surrender the next day's match. He also took the opportunity to teach the little princess a lesson about dragon clan history. He explained that, long ago, dragons on the Tianyuan continent were divided into 5 levels, corresponding to the 5 levels of human cultivation. Except for the legendary 5-tiered dragon saint, the 4-tiered giant dragon from earlier represented the pinnacle of dragon combat power. At that moment, Sima Ling Kong stepped forward and proposed to the Emperor that if Shen Nan lost the next day, he should forfeit his life. Yunai, displeased, publicly rebuked her nominal husband and then left the palace with the male protagonist. Elsewhere, the eldest princess, after investigating the bodies of the assassinated soldiers, seemed to have guessed the identity of the perpetrator. Sima Ling Kong, fuming about the banquet incident, intended to report to his father, but found his father and officials from the Tianyang Kingdom engaged in a private discussion, forcing him to abandon his plan. After the young man left, the envoy stated that Lord Sima needn't worry. Shen Nan was certainly going to die in tomorrow's match. Returning to the little princess, she brought the male protagonist to the Tang Fu Kok hidden scripture pavilion to find Long Bao Bao and urged them to escape together that night. However, there, Shen Nan sensed someone cultivating beneath the ground and, together with the girl, found a way down. After opening a hidden chamber and entering, they witnessed an old demon in the library using dark magic to absorb the life force of living beings. Upon being discovered, the demon revealed his royal lineage, stating that even the current king would respectfully address him as ancestor. Despite a lifetime of arduous cultivation, he had failed to reach the Xian Wu immortal martial realm. Fortunately, he encountered Shen Nan, whose translation of an ancient text allowed him to comprehend a supreme martial art that rejuvenated him. He then asked Shen Nan if he would be interested in a method to shorten his cultivation time while still achieving the power of a master. He then led Yunai and the male protagonist to another location where a tall, dark, and withered man was impaled by a sword, having been there for 6,000 or 7,000 years. The old demon brought Shen Nan closer so he could translate the ancient characters inscribed at the base of the corpse. Then, he proposed that they join forces, extracting the sealed power of this expert and splitting it evenly. The demon would break through his cultivation bottleneck and extend his life, while Shen Nan would elevate his cultivation to the Xian Wu realm. Whether hypnotized or not, upon hearing Xian Wu, the male protagonist readily agreed to help the old demon. However, after performing a few basic exercises, Shen Nan turned and left, claiming he sensed no power from the corpse. The enraged demon seized Long Bao Bao to threaten the young man. Fortunately, Yunai successfully betrayed her master and rescued the dragon child. The furious old man created a barrier, intending to use Shen Nan for cultivation. At this point, Yunai held a knife to her own throat, using her life to force the old man to release her friend. Shen Nan, wanting to test his own worth, flew forward, snatched the knife, and held it to his own throat. The demon surprisingly agreed to release all 3 of them. Even outside, Yunai persistently urged Shen Nan and Long Bao Bao to flee, but he refused. He had completely translated the Forbidden Tome, a text the demon didn't fully understand, making him culpable for unleashing potential catastrophe upon the world. The next day, the duel arrived. Shen Nan's tardiness, a mere instance of sleeping in, enraged Sima Ling Kong, who immediately ordered his troops to arrest him. Upon arrival, Shen Nan wrestled the spear from Sima Ling Kong and engaged in a furious battle. He single-handedly fought each opponent, his unparalleled martial arts skills leaving everyone awestruck. He channeled his inner energy into the spear, repelling a senior disciple with a swift thrust. His second move conjured a colossal hand, grabbing the tail of a giant dragon and hurling it 10 meters away. Only the knight in armor and his 4th-grade dragon, continuously spewing fire, remained. Seeing the dire situation, Long Bao Bao leaped onto the stage to aid Shen Nan. The knight scoffed at Shen Nan's seemingly insignificant dragon. His mockery was justified. The dragon bell was ineffective without Shen Nan's protection. However, in a desperate move to shield his close friend, Dong Dong used his small body as a shield. Suddenly, Long Bao Bao's body glowed, revealing a massive sacred dragon, terrifying the 4th-grade dragon into retreat. Exhausted from the effort, Dong Dong collapsed, and Shen Nan quickly caught him. Picking up the knight's dragon summoning bell, Shen Nan crushed it, freeing the 4th-grade dragon. The dragon, expressing its long-awaited revenge, attacked and defeated its former master before flying away. Shen Nan, utterly drained, collapsed unconscious. The demon, finding Shen Nan still asleep, took him back to his cave for treatment. Meanwhile, the Tianyang Kingdom's representatives realized that Shen Nan's victory would annul Sima Ling Kong's betrothal. They threatened Sima Ling Kong, warning him that if he didn't forge an alliance with the yellow-robed forces, the emperor's potential favor towards Shen Nan would strip the Sima family of its power. However, if he agreed to wait for the chaos of the Eight Moon Kingdom, they would support his father's ascension to the throne of Dongzhou Kingdom. Seeing this advantageous deal, the elder Sima readily agreed. A fat man attempted to renegotiate, only to be swiftly dismissed. That night, Shen Nan awoke in a strange place, witnessing Yunai and Dong Dong soundly asleep. The next morning, he woke up perfectly fine and immediately started bickering with the little princess. He even brought a decree annulling their engagement, personally stamped by the emperor, which deeply moved Yunai. Little did she know it was all a dream. Meanwhile, the male lead, Shen Nan, found himself inexplicably trapped inside a pink teddy bear, recalling his father's words about a strange artifact called a spirit essence crystal, a blue gemstone with its own spiritual power that absorbs the spirit of weakened cultivators into an illusionary realm called 10,000 Desolate Scenes. Shen Nan guessed this was where he was. Outside, Yunai told the little dragon that the teddy bear's eyes were gemstones salvaged from an ancient demon's tomb and inlaid onto the bear as a gift for her. Without further ado, the little princess rushed to her father to demand the annulment decree. Elsewhere, Sima Ling Kong blamed the previous night's incident with the obese envoy on a group of assassins, claiming they were attempting to collaborate with the Sima family in a power grab. He then used the marriage as leverage, threatening Yuan the crown princess that if she didn't let him marry the little princess, they would ally with the assassins. Having no other choice, the crown princess agreed to this scoundrel's demands. Overhearing this, Yunai burst in, only to be dragged away by her sister's guards. Sima Ling Kong, despite his beloved's disapproval, stubbornly pursued her. To prevent her sister from falling into the hands of this villain, Yuan demanded Sima Ling Kong eliminate the assassins. It turned out that after witnessing the yellow-robed assassin single-handedly eliminate his accomplices the previous night, Sima Ling Kong decided against collaboration. He even imprisoned his father to pursue his own plan of marrying Princess Yu Sheshi. Upon exiting, he encountered Hai's Wudao. Without revealing his plans, Sima Ling Kong invited him to infiltrate the Kai Shi mansion for a pleasant visit. Shen Nan, still trapped, realized his spirit was unable to return due to the distance of his physical body. That night, the emperor and the crown princess visited Yu Sheshi, urging her to wait patiently before leaving. Unwilling to wait, Yunai and Dong Dong broke through a wall, following the crown princess's aura. They arrived at the Kai Shi mansion, just as Sima Ling Kong and Hai's Wudao appeared. It turned out Sima Ling Kong intended to lure the yellow-robed assassin into a trap, but his scheme was discovered, forcing him to apologize. The moment Hai's Wudao turned, Sima Ling Kong launched a surprise attack. Su Ruan then appeared, decisively defeating the traitor, sending him to his death. Afterwards, Sima Ling Kong was granted permission to marry Yunai in 5 days. Meanwhile, the demon pretended to heal Shen Nan, actually intending to steal his spirit core and body. Unexpectedly, he found himself surrounded by countless massive tombs. In pain, Shen Nan struck out, cracking the spirit essence crystal. The old man struggled to absorb the protagonist Shen Nan's spiritual core, but failed and was attacked by vines. Meanwhile, Shen Nan fell into a dream, returning to the day he first met his beloved, Wu Xing. Overwhelmed with happiness, he chose to remain immersed in the dream, unwilling to wake. Simultaneously, his consciousness fought desperately to reclaim his body from the old man. Shen Nan, aware it was all an illusion, still lingered in the blissful dream, enjoying a comforting meal with his beloved. Elsewhere, Su Ruan prepared a blazing fire array, aiming to destroy the upcoming wedding. He enlisted 2 elders to guard the Haoyi Palace, ensuring the clandestine operation proceeded smoothly. Yu Sheshi, overhearing everything, was in a state of shocked disbelief. Back in the dream, just as Shen Nan believed he'd found lasting happiness with Wu Xing, she urged him to return to where he belonged before vanishing. Outside, Dong Dong rushed to the library to search for the demon, and Shen Nan accidentally set a teddy bear on fire. Overcome with distress, he heard his friend's cry for help and immediately jumped into the water, clearing the seaweed from his body. Then, past and present Shen Nan merged, flying towards the immortal demon garden where the demon was bound. There, he discovered the immortal demon garden resided within his own body. He immediately flew into and merged with the spiritual core, successfully reclaiming his body. The demon, his possession thwarted, was severely injured and reverted to his aged form, defeated. He revealed to Shen Nan that at the border of the East and West continents lay an independent city called Freedom City, where Shen Nan might find the answers he sought. Without a word, Shen Nan went outside, happily reuniting with Dong Dong and Yu Sheshi. Just as he was about to take the princess to the emperor to demand a broken engagement, she paused, declaring her decision to stay and accept her fate. Suddenly, fireworks illuminated the sky, a celebratory display from the citizens wishing the princess well in her marriage. As a devoted friend, Shen Nan chose not to offer congratulations but respected Yu Sheshi's decision. That night, Yunai, letting go of her resentment, invited her sister to sit and eat glutinous rice balls. They talked, and Yu Sheshi vowed she wouldn't resent her sister or cause her pain. The next morning, the wedding commenced. The bride entered the hall alone, causing a murmur among the Sima family. As Sima Ling Kong approached to greet her, Yu Sheshi angrily threw off her veil. Last night, upon discovering a problem with the sweet rice balls, the younger sister quickly switched bowls with her older sister. Waiting until Su Ruan was too weak to resist, Yunai took the protective amulet from the princess and ventured alone into the tiger's lair. The princess had just woken up when a figure suddenly burst through the door. Meanwhile, Shen Nan and Dong Dong went to the market for a quick breakfast of vegetables and noodles before preparing to leave. Back at Su Ruan's, her black cat lay writhing in a blood-soaked room, the reason for which remained unknown. At the wedding ceremony, Yu Sheshi was about to use the Yanbao talisman to blow up the entire hall, burying the Sima family with it, when Shen Nan suddenly appeared and stopped her. Then, from the outside, the seemingly defeated Hai's Wudao appeared, bringing both Su Ruan and the emperor, bound and gagged. Seeing his whole family reunited, the male lead immediately detonated the Yanbao talisman, reducing the entire palace to rubble. The family of 3 rejoiced at their reunion, thinking they had dealt with the 3 villains, when suddenly an arrow flew from nowhere. Shen Nan rushed forward, shielding the others with his body, only to discover the archer was using the Haoyi bow. Hai's Wudao emerged from the ruins. This villain had secretly placed a restriction on Sima Ling Kong, turning his brother into a puppet. Hai's Wudao unleashed a massive formation, encircling the entire imperial city. Countless butterflies emerged, entering the bodies of the citizens and soldiers, turning them into puppets under his control. Unable to stand by, Su Ruan immediately launched an attack to control the formation, but completely breaking it would take time. Shen Nan and Yunai had to buy time. Hai's Wudao summoned 2 Imperial Dragon Knights to fight Huakai and Yuzia. Yu Sheshi protected her sister while Shen Nan confronted Hai's Wudao. Seizing an opportunity while the male lead struggled against Hai's Wudao, the villain lunged with his sword towards Yu Sheshi. Fortunately, the devoted Sima Ling Kong, using his last ounce of strength, stood up and took the fatal blow for the young princess, just managing to say, In a little while, you'll be marrying me, before dying. Hai's Wudao, having lost his sword, grabbed the Haoyi bow to shoot the male lead. Su Ruan, despite her best efforts, couldn't break the ancient formation the villain had created. The Haoyi bow fired, Shen Nan took the arrow, and Hai's Wudao received a well-deserved beating from the male lead. Everything seemed to end with the brother unconscious and everyone worried. But it wasn't over. From the rubble, Hai's Wudao used his last strength to activate the ancient illusionary control, threatening to kill everyone. Marks appeared on everyone's necks, signaling their impending doom. Unexpectedly, a stream of blood flowed into the Haoyi bow, reviving it into a giant ancient tree, infusing all its energy into Shen Nan. The male lead soared into the air, wielding the Haoyi bow to fire an arrow that shattered the formation, saving everyone. As he landed, Dong Dong joyfully rushed to him. In the underground chamber, the old demon was causing the corpse to move. It turned out that Shen Nan's return to the palace was due to Su Ruan's Black Panther seeking his brother's help. It was time to say goodbye. Dong Dong summoned a 4th-grade giant dragon for Shen Nan and Yu Sheshi to travel the world and head towards Freedom City. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos.